Greetings, combatants. I am back at it again with another part of the MK9 fix video. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. Okay, so there's Cabal's burns, obviously, but yeah. So his burns would be included, of course, in the story mode too. Like, eventually, during the invasion, they would come face to face with Kintaro, who would burn Cabal alive. And Striker would be dealing with something different, being pursued by other warriors, so he would have to leave Cabal, sadly. And yeah, that's when Kano would take him take him to Shao Kahn's fortress. So here's the interesting thing. It's not presented in this version, it's not presented that Shang Tsung's magic can't heal his injuries. It's the way I present it as he can heal the injuries, but Cabal has to pledge allegiance to Shao Kahn for him to actually do so. And because, as we know, that is not going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen, first of all. Like, I'm very clearly going to state that it's not happening. So he betrays Cabal. So Cabal fights and defeats Kano. But here's where things get really interesting. So through this other story beats are going to be going on, like the group of champions run into Motaro's extermination squad while they're trying to head to they're fighting in New York City because they're desperately trying to get to Manhattan because that's where Shao Kahn's fortress is located. And they come across Motaro, who Kang defeats in combat, of course, to get the whole story mode thing of Liu Kang defeating in combat. So there are going to be multiple challenge towers. So the two main ones are going to be the one from MK2 and MK3. With there being one from MK1 too, but instead of Shang Tsung being the villain of that tower, it's still going to be Shao Kahn. Because, well, Shao Kahn's the main villain, and I know there's a split up between 1 and 3, but, well, it allows you to personalize the settings too. So if you want it to be you fighting Shang Tsung in the challenge tower for the MK1, you can do so, but the default option will be Shao Kahn, so that's up to you what you want to do with that. But yeah, they come across Motaro and he, well, almost kills Johnny Cage until Liu Kang and Raiden intervene and Liu Kang defeats him and then Raiden decides to kill him. Well, Liu Kang defeats him and Motaro once again attempts to kill Johnny Cage with the whole spear thing. Like, he picks up a spear off the ground and charges towards Johnny Cage. Raiden shocks him and then does his electric fly, killing him. And at this point, this is where the story gets really into the deep intricacies that are going to be included in the MK3 storyline. So then we get into the bad stuff that's about to happen. So after Motaro's killed, the body is taken back to Shao Kahn's fortress through the portals. And, well, you know where this is going. Cabal stands up to Kano, threatens him, and forces him to take him to Shao Kahn. So they walk in with Motaro's dead body, and it's explained Raiden has killed Motaro. Shao Kahn is annoyed at this because Motaro's was supposed to lead an attack on the Earthrealm forces once they link up. The attack from this supposed to lead an attack on Earthrealm's fortress once they link up for an attack. It is like the fact of the matter that that's the way that would pay out. Like after that, like with Motaro's death, Shao Kahn decides that Sindel, with a power boost, of course, will lead the attack and will kill as many of Earthrealm's champions as possible. Shiva will be her bodyguard in the process. And then Shao Kahn, who has been absorbing all the souls of the dead throughout this entire invasion, will decide to put millions to hundreds of millions of those souls into Sindel, enhancing her power extremely.
What is this?
Raiden has killed Motaro.
That's him. How
Then
do I get out of here?
Raiden has killed Motaro.
What is this?
yeah, that's the decision that gets made, and we get into the more problematic aspects that are going to go into it. So yeah. So Motaro's daughter is now put in charge of the extermination squads under Motaro's leadership. They were previously under Motaro's leadership. She requests that Shao Kahn brings him back to life if she does well in this duty, and Shao Kahn totally agrees. Cabal, then deciding after seeing Shao Kahn display his power, knocks out Kano and attempts to take Shao Kahn on. He is faced down by, well, I guess Noob Saibot and the daughter of Motaro, I would say. He's able to outwit them, and then Shao Kahn launches a fireball he attempts to attack Shao Kahn, who is sitting on the throne, who immediately sucker punches him across. Then he launches one of his famous fireball attacks. There's a portal nearby that's being used to go transport his forces, like it was the portal where literally Motaro's body was taken from, and Shao Kahn keeps firing fireballs and other things at him, saying, "Do not let him get away." Stuff like that. And, well, he orders the portal to be sealed, but it is not sealed in time. And as he launches and as he decides, screw this, I'm just gonna destroy the portal myself, he then charges up to unleash a powerful fireball attack. Cabal just jumps right through. Cabal just jumps right through and in time escapes before the portal is destroyed. Shao Kahn slams his fist and says, "Are you useful for anything, Quan Chi?" In a moment of rage, he says that to him. And he says, and he sends out his warriors again. He says, "Shang Tsung, you will go with Quan Chi to achieve. You will go with Quan Chi to perform some important business." Simply hinting to Shang Tsung that put Quan Chi in his place already. I am tired of his constant need for my help. He is be as inefficient as possible. So really, Shao Kahn knows how good of a alliance these two would have, so that's why he turns the tide against them and tries to make them hate each other. Like, that's the way he does things. He knows that these two sorcerers can be pretty dangerous if they work together with each other, so he decides that the best option in general is to make them hate each other. And that's what he does. They begin to despise each other.
This speed's incredible. Guess it's a side effect of the outworld magic.
You are not authorized for portal use.
Yeah. Says who?
Sub-Zero, Unit LK520.
Okay, so this is an interesting one. So after Cabal escapes through the portal, he is then spotted by Sub-Zero and a couple cybers who say, "You are not authorized for use of the portal." Like, this basically goes down the same way.
You say that like it means something.
As you will soon discover.
Round.
Fight against Shao Kahn. We would welcome your aid also.
Sub-Zero.
That which may
Not be allowed to merge the realm.
Okay, so here's where things really get into gear. So he is able to defeat Sub-Zero in combat, and then Sub-Zero, because Sub-Zero has an important stake in the whole, because Sub-Zero had service to Shao Kahn being a part of the Cyber Initiative now. Sub-Zero now does something very interesting. He is reprogrammed, and basically the same interaction between him and Smoke. He says what they did to him is hideous. We gotta help him if we can. Cabal, he sees the humanity in, since he's also been mutilated and disfigured, says we gotta help him if we can. So they bring him back to the cathedral, which would be in New York City.
Aoka, how can Sub-Zero best help us?
Then everyone after then departs and continues their fight against Outworlds and continues back the forces as much as they possibly can as a distraction for Sub-Zero to gain important intel and try to determine things. He says Shao Kahn must not be allowed to merge the realm. If he does merge the realm, all hope is lost. Everything is coming down to this. Raiden is becoming increasingly desperate, making Liu Kang have to calm him down more and more throughout the story mode because he is very terrified of what will happen if Shao Kahn actually wins. So the whole subplot of the Soulnado is cut. Because that subplot never made sense in general. The Soulnado was never a part of the original timeline anyways. Now the Soulnado can be something that is used. The Soulnado will be established at some point to be used for Shao Kahn's purposes. Like if he's not available to steal the souls of everyone he can, then the Soulnado is created to harbor those souls so he can suck all the souls up and take them for himself. So that will be established once he begins the merger. So out on the battle, Melina meets up with Sindel, who is in charge of the now plan to kill as many Earthrealm warriors as possible, and that's where things get really brutal. Marina sees motherhood in Sindel and views her as her mom, even though she really isn't by blood, but at the same time, Sindel sees her value as a daughter and says she's much more in line with Shao Kahn's wishes than Katana ever was, and she welcomes her as her daughter. And the staging plan is set because the cathedral is right outside Manhattan is where they are going to be, is where Raiden decided that his group will be meeting up for the next stage of their planning phase. This is where things kick into high gear as Sindel and her warriors have been well established to be very fearsome and are prepared to kill as many Earthrealmers as possible. Raiden decides at this moment that Shao Kahn's transgression must be not allowed, and he decides to go through Kang to the Elder Gods and tell them that they need to do something about what Shao Kahn has done. And that's where we get into the most crucial aspects.
Khan multiplying his power.
That is what Sub-Zero has found?
Khan multiplying his power.
Raiden, what is it? What did you see?
One of Shao Kahn's soulnados on a scale I thought unimaginable. All of Earthrealm's souls imprisoned, absorbed by Shao Kahn, multiplying his power.
That is what Sub-Zero has...
He ain't gonna need luck.
This is of course cut. This is not useful. Also, it doesn't really make much sense in general. Like, is the merger actually going on because the sky is red? Or is that just a fire? Or was that smoke? Oof, gosh, that is huge.
Raiden, what is it? What did you see?
One of Shao Kahn's soulnados on a scale I thought unimaginable. All of Earthrealm's souls imprisoned, absorbed by Shao Kahn, multiplying his power.
That is what Sub-Zero has found?
Okay, this is not going to be included, of course, but don't worry, it will eventually come up later. The Soulnado is known as canon due to Deadly Alliance and Deception, so yeah. It's just not canon to MK3, so that's the most important part. So here's where things get really bad in general. Here's where things go really downhill, and here's where things get really sad. So the plan is set into motion. Raiden goes to see his masters, his stupid masters that are unhelpful, and then at the opportune moment when they're discussing, Melina assassinates Jade in the middle of the discussion, and then the Outworld forces, including the Cybers, begin attacking. They kill many Earthrealm warriors. For instance, Smoke is killed by Sector and his body is taken away to be cyberized. You got Striker taking a lethal shot to save. You got Striker being killed by Motaro's daughter to save, who sacrifices himself to save Cabal. This is when Noob Saibot and Sub-Zero fight each other, and Noob Saibot reveals that he is the brother. He is flesh and blood. And it's a really sad realization that his brother is basically, well, evil. His brother has become nothing more than a servant of Shao Kahn. was resurrected. Kung Lao, Reverend Kung Lao, also joins into this, and he begins attacking too. He kills a friend. He kills multiple friends of his who are Earthrealm's champions of the White Lotus societies, and it's just a killing spree all in general. Like Kenshi, you got characters like Kenshi, Kai, and a bunch of other characters who get involved in this whole thing, and people are just getting massacred left and right. Like Earthrealm loses a lot of their friends. Like Jack survives, Cabal survives, Johnny Cage survives, Kitana survives. Who else survives? Sub-Zero survives. But you can really feel the desolation. Like Kenshi survives. Kai survives, and a couple and like handfuls of other champions also survive. But not many survive. Most of them are killed in this battle. Nightwolf, of course, just like in the actual game, sacrifices himself to destroy Sindel, who is close to killing Kitana. Of course, Kitana tries to reach Sindel, but it does not vote well. She loses the chance to break through to her mother, and her mother tries to kill her. It's very sad, and in general, very disappointing. I wanted Sindel to survive, but I still had to follow the story structure.
Now do you understand the power of the Grandmaster's vision?
You are no match for the power of the spirits.
Round 1.
Sindel attacks and injures multiple of the remaining warriors. She also kills she kills like five champions as well. Newly additioned or newly added champions for the story, and they die. And it takes Nightwolf sacrificing himself to stop her, because she's on the verge of killing them all.
This is not your way. Shao
Yes.
Kahn has corrupted you.
Shao
Yes.
Kahn has
Yes,
resurrected
absolutely.
me. You
This
have
still remains
betrayed
the story.
me, embraced a pathetic cause.
True.
Remember Edenia, Mother.
That's what she
Remember
would
your
say.
rule before Shao Kahn's invasion.
Quiet, child. It is time for you to join your brothers.
So yeah, that's how that goes down pretty close.
Monster!
Are you?
At this point, when they're all injured and watching as Nightwolf engages her, they say this, and this is basically when we get this scene right here.
Elder gods, I beseech you. Earthrealm is in danger.
We are aware of your plight, Raiden.
Then you must
Yes.
intervene on Earthrealm's behalf.
We cannot.
But Shao Kahn, Liu Kang has
Yes, he does
bested him
say
twice,
this.
yet he still...
Shao Kahn has not violated the rules of Mortal Kombat.
Well, instead of saying Shao Kahn has not violated the rules of Mortal Kombat, he says Shao Kahn has discovered a loophole in the rules of Mortal Kombat, which has made his invasion unfortunately perfectly legal. Even though we want to help your realm, we are incapable of doing so. Shao Kahn is perfectly in his balance at this moment. Only if he merges the realms will we be allowed to intervene. But with great cost. Earthrealm is the last. From what we know, Earthrealm is the last piece Shao Kahn needs to destroy all, to be more powerful than us. You're the best of hope that Shao Kahn is it not able to merge the realms. If you have any hope of surviving his invasion, you must stop him before the realms are merged, or else all hope is lost.
What? He invades Earthrealm.
So they're
as we
more
speak.
useful, basically.
Invasion is not itself a transgression.
This is a
It is the
stupid plot
merger of
point.
realms that is prescribed.
A distinction without a difference. Innocents are dying at the hands of Outworld.
It is regrettable, but the Mortal Kombat tournaments are not intended to prevent certain outcomes. They are intended only to maintain balance among the realms.
Please, you must.
We have spoken.
The last doors are closing.
Kitana.
Well, they are able to return in time and see Nightwolf sacrifice himself, killing Sindel. Siva is there helplessly watching as Sindel is killed, and Ven is forced to return to Shao Kahn and admit that his wife is dead. Shao Kahn then becomes incredibly enraged at the fact that his wife has now been killed, and he is very angry. He then decides, screw this, the invasion, the merger must begin now. I must begin the merger ahead of schedule. I must ensure that my victory will not be interfered with, he states.
Protect you.
We skip this, we skip this, we skip this, we skip this. This is really
Lest
pointless.
he face the judgment of the Elder Gods. Lest he...
Yeah, we skip all of that. So after that, the remaining heroes make a break for Manhattan and make a break for Shao Kahn's fortress. They are able to infiltrate his fortress and take down multiple of his guards. They are able to defeat multiple warriors. The devastation begins to show across the world. As we get to see more burning, we get to see more of his armies massacring. We would get scenes of Kotal and his Aztec completely ransacking California. We would get to see the Oni, we would get to see the Raptor, we would get to see the Komodo, we would get to see a lot of different of his conquest armies conquering and killing, like the Tarkans and all of that. We would get to see a lot of them involved in this. And then they would storm Shao Kahn's throne room, who will be sitting on the throne, not Shao Kahn, but Reiko, harboring back a little bit to his old characterization of him being a little bit obsessed with Shao Kahn. But he's obsessed more so in less of a creepy way now, but more so as an admiration to him. Like, he doesn't want to be Shao Kahn, he just wants to be Shao Kahn's loyal general at this point. Which, if you don't like, you can let me know in the comments. But here's where we get into the things. It's like, where is Shao Kahn in he begins his preparations for the merger. You are too late. Your world is lost. Then we get on to the most crucial and important parts of this story mode. The end. Liu Kang fights and defeats Reiko, and then him and Reagan go aside and go outside of Shao Kahn's throne room and start discussing things. At this moment, Shao Kahn is overwhelming the dimensional barriers with bringing his world through. Even the Elder Gods barriers cannot stop Outworld's merger, even if they wanted to. And then we get to hear something.
Face the judgment of the...
Well, skip a little bit.
Do as I say.
The Earthrealmers begin to hear that noise, and then there he is, beginning his trudge through the portal. As Outworld is directly tied to him, now the realm begins to merge. The sky becomes red, and everything, and Outworld becomes, and Earthrealm starts to become part of Outworld.
Then you are my enemy.
The rest of the Earthrealm is prepared for his final attack, as at this point he begins glowing green of his abilities. He begins to be surrounded by a green halo, and this is where things get really bad. As Liu Kang and Raiden are arguing and too busy not knowing what is happening, Shao Kahn, now, with as much power as he has now that the realms are merging, Raiden becomes more distressed and determines that we must defeat Shao Kahn together. Becomes more distressed at the fact of what is actually happening, and Earthrealm's warriors begin to face down against Shao Kahn. They all defeat in brutal fashion, and the remaining characters who are new additions to this game get absolutely massacred, including Kai, who also gets massacred. Like, everyone gets injured, even Sub-Zero, whose cyber form is torn in two by Shao Kahn. He uses many of his moves to defeat every possible warriors. He's getting shot by a hail of bullets, but it has no effect on him. In fact, they just keep bouncing off of him. Like, they have zero effect on him, and all of the attacks keep bouncing off on him. And then we get into the most crucial thing. The last two combatants, which are Johnny Cage and Sonya, fight him in an endurance match, lose, and then he does the same thing he did in the game, where he blasts them away. He blasts them through the doors, and their bodies lay near to Raiden. They look in the throne room, they look at all the bodies, and then Shao Kahn's just not there, and then you see a teleport. Like, so Shao Kahn can teleport similar to Motaro, where he can just disappear right in front of your eyes and then reappear right behind you, and he reappears pulling them two apart, and they start going towards him as he walks back into his throne room. You hear that famous MK3 music. If you don't know what I mean, hold on a sec. Nope, not what I want. Here. You hear this song in his throne room, and I feel like it's much more fitting for this song to be a part of the final battle than it was in the final battle of MK9, which is not even close to this kind of music. Like, I'm going to do a full review on this video, of course. I'm of course going to do a full review on this song because, well, hearing from here, this song is absolutely amazing. So let me know what you think of me having this song be the final soundtrack, for the final fights between Shao Kahn in this game. Because it really just adds a lot of dread to the story. It's like I heard this when I was fighting him in Trilogy, and it really just makes the final fight so much scarier, because you are what is standing in his way to totally winning. It is you. It's not the characters anymore. You are what is standing between Shao Kahn and total victory. This is how the game is supposed to feel. You are the catalyst to determine will Shao Kahn actually achieve victory or will he not. It is your choice.
This was not meant to
Liu
happen.
Kang does not die.
Longer.
So he fights them in his throne room and he defeats both of them. He blasts Liu Kang away, he puts him under a bunch of rubble and he says, "Stay here, chosen one. Your master and me have some business to attend to." Raiden, who has been severely beaten by Shao Kahn at this point, is now, like in the game, getting beaten by him like this. He's getting absolutely defeated. Raiden attempts to strike at him as much as he can, but it has no effect on Shao Kahn, and he laughs off his attacks, continuing to batter him.
They masquerade as dragons.
He begins taunting him, like, I guess I'll just add the dialogue for myself in this one. So here's what Shao Kahn's going to be saying. After all of that struggle, you finally realized the truth, Raiden. You were never going to win this battle. It was always hopeless. Your visions have not helped you succeed, have they? If only caused more pain and more destruction. You are a fool, Raiden. You thought you could win. You had no chance at doing so. It is the end of all things, Raiden. It is Armageddon for you and your realm. It is the end of all things, Raiden. With Earthrealm now firmly under my grasp, you will never succeed now. He does do multiple things from the game. Of course he says toothless worms.
Where are you? Why do you forsake me?
Raiden calls upon his deity, saying how bad things are. And then the merger is fully complete as Earthrealm is fully integrated into Outworld now. And his fortress it is proven.
Yes,
I have won.
you have won. Now, Raiden, your world ends.
I know what you're thinking. Liu Kang and Raiden both challenging Shao Kahn together and losing. It's because I wanted to add something about the story. I wanted it to feel more devastating than it actually was previously. I wanted it to feel like basically all hope was lost and there was no more hope. Until... And you may be wondering, why doesn't he kill Liu Kang? Yes, because he thinks that Liu Kang can be valuable to him, and he wants to at least attempt to gain him over to his side. He knows Raiden has to go. But that's just the important part. Then we get the deities coming down and trying to stop Shao Kahn, who like in this game laughs off their attack and then attacks, and then he attacks them, and infused inside of Raiden, they are defeated by him. And Shao Kahn, after defeating them, says, "You were saying, even you coming down here and attempting to stop me was pathetic. All you do is bask in the glory. All you do is make your minions serve you well. I served you once. I regret my service to you. You were nothing more than pathetic opportunists who never deserved the power you gained. And now you will die for your betrayal. Die for it." Then Raiden convinces them to go into Liu Kang, as he is the only one who's ever defeated Shao Kahn in combat. So they agree. They agree. They leave Raiden and they go into Liu Kang, and he
An anemic effort from ineffectual
finally
deities. Today, I become the Elder God.
Round 1.
Fight! You
Okay, we can't say this soundtrack is better than this. Am I right, everyone? Like, let me know in the comment section if I'm right. Like, honestly, because this is a soundtrack you really can jam to, because it really feels the intensity. It's like, yeah, it's the intensity of this soundtrack alone. It feels like the fate of the world of Earth is actually in your hands. It feels like that. It doesn't feel like a half note. It's like it's you against him. You are all that stands in between him and victory. And this is what you want in the story modes. You want to feel that you are the only hope between Shao Kahn's victory and saving the world, because it's basically all over at this point. After an intense fight between Liu Kang, so first thing that happens is after seeing him go into he decides that, you know what, I'm tired of Raiden. He pulls out one of his spears and he immediately stabs him through with the spear, basically coming very close to killing him. Liu Kang screams in absolute anger and takes on Shao Kahn. It is finally time to Liu Kang says it is finally time to make sure that you never threaten my home again. He says, wise words, mortal, but in the end, you are nothing compared to my power. They fight, and after a long and strenuous fight, Liu Kang gains the upper hand and is able to use his right hand this time to put a hole through Shao Kahn's chest, defeating him. With Shao Kahn defeated, the Elder Worms decide of punishment for Shao Kahn. They decide to banish him to the Nether Realm. They decide that his transgression will no longer be allowed, and he will no longer be allowed to conquer any more realms, as he has proven that he will never stop until he actually gains victory. After banishing him, Shao Kahn laughs, saying, "You will regret such things. I will return in time. Mark my words. Your pathetic rule is at an end, you pathetic deities," he says. Then, finally, after his banishment, they undo the merger, they separate Outworld, they send everything back into Outworld. They banish his armies back into Outworld, and it is over. The realms are restored, the cost of dread is over. But Adenia is not separated. No one is free. Kitana has lost her mother for good. Kitana has lost her mother. Liu Kang almost lost Raiden. Liu Kang has lost Kung Lao. Many have died. Raiden says in his weakened state after being wounded by Shao Kahn, he says it is over. But the price of victory was too steep to bear. So many are gone. So many friends. So many allies. So many people. I sense that over 2 billion human lives have been extinguished upon this day. Shao Kahn has killed more than we could have possibly imagined. The devastation, the destruction, so many have died. How can we live on with the knowledge that we have lost so many people? So many people who didn't deserve to die. So many people who were good, genuine people. So many of our defenders are now gone. We have lost so many. And then Liu Kang says, "We will rebuild, Lord Raiden. We will improve our defenses. We will do better. We will be better. For all who have lost, for all the friends who have died, we will gain back everything we have lost." He says, "Come, we must attend to the fallen. Earthrealm still needs us, even if we've lost so many of the friends who were needed." Then after that, we get the post-credit scene. The merger is undone, and the sky is brightened and blue. But there's still fire, there's still storm clouds. Then, in the basque, Shinnok and Quan Chi appear, saying that now that without Shao Kahn, the invasion can begin. Quan Chi was defeated by Shang Tsung and put in his place. Shao Kahn's orders were clear. Now that Quan Chi has revealed his betrayal, he will be hunted by Scarlet, which will be a plot in the next game. Shinnok says Shao Kahn's plan was genius, and he nearly succeeded. He was so close to victory. Now that Earthrealm is weakened, and Outworlders without their greatest champion, the only champion who could ever stand up against, who could prevent me from taking his realm. Now I can take both. With political maneuvering, of course, we can gain power over both. We will invade Earthrealm, take it over. It will be 9 now. And as for Outworld, its service to me will soon begin. Soon I'll be free from my imprisonment. Soon I'll be free from ruling this dead world. Earthrealm and Outworld will soon be mine. Then we cut to the Netherrealm, seeing Shao Kahn in chains, and he says, "The Elder Gods have thought they removed me from the equation now. Luckily enough for me, I have an escape plan implemented. Outworld will be fine under my daughter's leadership as for now, but when I return, all will suffer my wrath," proving that Shao Kahn is not truly defeated yet. The post-credit scenes of these games will lead up to what's coming next: Shinnok's invasion, Shao Kahn's return to power, and the power vacuum. We'll see that Kotal thinks that he would be a better leader in one of the post-credit scenes of MK9, and so he prepares to challenge the current leadership. It is the end of all things. It's the end of an era, but soon the new threat of Shinnok will be faced. Now there's a lot I want to do with MKX, and MKX will be the next fix video. It will require more fundamental fixes, of course.
It is over.
And that's how we will end MK9, my fellow viewers. Thank you all. I want to say before ending this fix video, thank you all for watching. I always appreciate your support, and if you've made it this far, if you watched my entire video, please comment what you think about my fix down in the comment section. As always, I appreciate every viewer. You all, even though I'm a small content creator, I appreciate that you take the time to listening to what I think of Mortal Kombat. So yeah, without further ado, thank you all for watching. If you like my content, feel free to like and subscribe. There's of course more gameplay mechanics I want to add in. I wanted to make it more unique. I wanted to make it more special. I wanted to make it more so of the 3D era-ish look. Like for instance, there being fighting styles. Like characters would have fighting styles and stuff. And yeah. Yeah, so yes, as always, thank you all for watching. I appreciate all your support. Always have and always will. Now without further ado, as always, God bless you all. Stay tuned for MKX Fix, cause that will be on my list of the next on the list. Adios, fellow viewers.